it's Shawnee. Welcome back. And today I'm going to do swatches of the Glaminatrix Cosmetics Glamorous Palette. Now, this palette came in this lovely box. It was packaged very well. And once you open the box, here is the palette. So it has similar coloring to the box. This is sort of like a faux leather material. At the very top, it says Glaminatrix Cosmetics. And then on the bottom, it says Glamorous, which is the name of the palette. Then once you open the palette, you have a mirror, and then you have these 12 beautiful shades, which are a mixture of mattes and shimmers. Now, this is my first purchase from the brand. I was really drawn in actually by one of their other palettes, but it sold out before I could get it. So when I saw that this one was coming out, I was like, I need to purchase that immediately, and I'm really glad that I did. I did order it on a pre-order, which is kind of primarily what they do, it seems, especially with their palettes, and I wondered about that, and I actually saw a couple of weeks ago the owners were talking about why they do that. Now, it seems like if you use PayPal, PayPal keeps a certain amount of the money after a certain dollar amount. And so basically they're kind of like in a holding pattern until that money is released, which seems to coincide with the amount of days in which they say like the pre-order will ship. So I think it was like 30 to 60 days or something is how long it might take for them to actually get the money that was paid for their product. And so that pushes things back a bit. That's kind of how I understood it, and I can totally understand how that would really mess with a smaller brand or indie brand trying to reinvest into their company. If you have a different understanding, let me know. And it seems like it only happens with folks who purchase through PayPal, which a lot of people like to use because it does feel like there's an extra layer of security. Let me tell you a bit more about the brand. It is an indie cosmetics brand, and I believe it's woman-owned, and they are based in Australia. On their Instagram, they say that they are a high-quality, vegan, and cruelty-free makeup brand. On their website, it doesn't have as much information. It's basically like go in, pick your shades, pop them in your cart, and then get out of there. So there's not as much information about the brand itself on there. So I will also tell you a bit about the palette itself. Now, again, this is the Glamorous palette. They have a couple of other palettes, one of which I recently ordered, and with the time frame, I'll probably get it, in the spring. But that's okay because I used this palette to do this eye look, and I'm really glad that I got this palette and that I ordered the other one, and now I kind of want all their stuff. So they sell single eyeshadows. They do have some empty magnetic palettes, and then they also have eyeshadow palettes, just a few of them. So the Glamorous palette, there isn't a huge description on their website, but I'll read to you what Laura, who I believe is the owner, wrote. So it starts off by saying, is this going to be like every other makeup description you have read? Definitely not. One, it's my first time writing anything like this. And two, if any of the application advice doesn't suit your particular preferences, then I give you all the permission to disregard it, and we will both move on with our lives. One thing I must implore you to do is use this palette to create eye looks that make you feel alluring, attractive, seductive, confident, and most of all, glamorous. The Glamorous palette goes for it. It is unapologetically colorful and high impact, just like me. That's what she said, but it's also like me too. These eyeshadows pick up beautifully on a brush or with your fingertip. I can attest to that. They do. The palette is magnetic. The pans are 26 millimeters and hold between 1.5 and 2 grams of product per pan. The pans are magnetized and not glued in. Love that. They can easily be removed or rearranged using a magnet. Then they say, thank you all so much for your support and for helping our dreams come true. We are truly so grateful for you all. They then go on to list the ingredients of the shades. Now, this palette has 7 mattes, 1 high impact shimmer, and 4 duochromes. So let's go ahead and get started with doing the swatches. Although the swatches do have names, or I'm sorry, although the shades have names, there aren't very many descriptions, but these colors seem pretty straightforward in my opinion. There's like purple and shades of that, as well as shades of blue and teal. I think we can kind of easily figure out the colors for themselves, and this will also help you figure out if this colorful palette is something that you would want to get. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. So I'm going to go ahead and prep my arm for some swatches. Okay, so I am just going to go straight across both of these rows and do swatches. There are 12 shades, and I believe we can make them all fit on this arm here. So I'm going to start with this shade here, which is called Twinkle. Next is the shade Regal. I think that's such a perfect name for this shade. It's a nice matte purple. Right next to that, we've got the shade Belle. Next to that, in the same row, we've got the shade Luxe. Next is the shade Generous. And the last one in this row is the shade Tempting. Now the second row, the first shade here is Sweetly. The next shade is Dreamy. After that, we've got the shade Style. Next to that, we have the shade Opulence. Then we have the shade Package. And lastly in the palette, we have the shade Curls. That one took a few more swipes, but still went on pretty well. So let's go back over the shades and the swatches. This shade is called Twinkle. This one is Regal, Belle, Luxe, generous, tempting. That is the first row. The second row, sweetly, dreamy, style, opulence, package, curls. So I'm going to see how these wipe off with an extra large textured towel from Clean Skin Club. It is a makeup wipe essentially. So there is a bit of staining. That was one wipe. So this is probably one where you'll get it off once you know, get some like soap and water. Let's try another wipe. That one got a lot more of the shimmers off. But yeah, I'm going to definitely have to give my arm a bit of a scrub to get the remnants of the shades off. Not bad though. Good thing I had already planned to do a little workout and then take a shower, so it'll be perfect timing to wipe this off. And make sure to check out the video I did with this look. I used several of the shimmers and several of the mattes, so I'm hoping that you will enjoy that. I hope some of this was helpful. I also hope that you're continuing to take care of yourself. Don't forget to like the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.